We're starting off with the latest from India, where tragedy darkened the epic event on the religious and civilizational calendar of the Indian people. And as per the DIG of Maha Kumbh, 30 people have lost their lives, over 90 have been injured in that stampede that broke out at the Maha Kumbh festival in Prayagraj early on Wednesday. The question is, how did the tragedy occur? Why did it happen? Despite the massive administrative arrangements and the security organized for this event, when the administration was able to get things under control in 90 minutes, did the fervor of the devotees go out of control, or was there a mistake somewhere which is being investigated? First things first, we get you stark images just to help you grasp the depth of what happened, the depth of this tragedy, and the pain of those who have suffered the ultimate loss. Millions of fervent pilgrims jostled and ran to take a holy ritual dip at the confluence of the three sacred rivers. Top leaders of the country, including Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, expressed their sorrow and shock to the victims and their families, thus acknowledging that there have been fatalities. But how did what is being popularly called the world's largest religious congregation turn into a tragedy? And who is to blame? Let's first understand what really happened. As per reports, the crowd crush took place during pre-dawn hours, about 1 kilometer from the riverine confluence in Prayagraj. Witnesses reported chaotic scenes breaking out, who also said that one of the worst crushes occurred after large numbers of people went down to the river to bathe, while others were sleeping on the floor around the congested riverbank. And as the crowd surged in different directions, people began to push their way out, and many began to fall to the floor, pushing over barriers and trampling each other. Another crowd crush was reported to have taken place around one of the entrances to the festival. You see, Wednesday marked a particularly significant bathing day, which marked the most auspicious day of the 6-week-long festival, with officials anticipating a record turnout of 100 million devotees at the pilgrimage site. But the question is, were there adequate measures even in place to control an overwhelming crowd that seemed to be swelling by the hour? Meanwhile, as rescue operations are still underway, the Chief Minister, Yogi Adityanath, who has surveilled the situation by himself, said some devotees were seriously injured when they climbed over the barricades. Addressing the media, he also said that the situation is under control, but the crowd pressure remains. From the looks and sound of it, things grew tense pretty quickly and seemed to spiral out of control, as many of those injured were seen being carried on stretchers by security personnel and rescue workers. People's belongings, including blankets and bags, lay strewn around. What was meant to be a scene of grand celebration and joy soon turned into a grim picture of sorrow and mourning, with distraught families seen gathering outside temporary medical centers, searching for missing relatives and loved ones. The tragic incident evoked reactions from several politicians, as the President, Draupadi Murmu, Vice President, also the Home Minister, and many other leaders, as well as opposition leaders across parties, offered their condolences. Prime Minister Modi also commented on the incident, calling it extremely sad. You see, the Kumbh Mela has been heavily promoted by Prime Minister Modi himself, who had earlier praised the extraordinary and unforgettable crowds that were attending the festival. And this time around, more than 400 million people were expected to attend the festivities held over 45 days. Then how did such a tragedy even take place? The questions are, is it a case of administrative mismanagement? Did the authorities underestimate the turnout, which continued to swell after Tuesday night? Many have even blamed the VIP culture that grants special access to the privileged few who are prioritized over the public. As per reports, even as on Tuesday, the authorities issued an advisory urging visitors to follow safety protocols and instructed them to use designated lanes, maintain order at barricades, and avoid lingering at the ghats after bathing. It clearly wasn't enough, it seems, as the police struggled to regain control over the surging crowd. We are talking about real people here who had their near and dear ones injured or feared to be dead in the incident. The question is, who will take responsibility? A tragedy that comes with a grave human cost. And more importantly, what can be done to avert such incidents in the future? With 2 more weeks to go for the festival, we will have to wait and watch for these answers. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.